نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today is 14th June, lecture number 20. This is Dawah Ilallah, Masim Mahyuddin. Assalamu alaikum. Today's topic is lengthen our journey for livelihood. I've done this topic before under a different heading, which was Go West, where the dreams come true. But that one had a sound problem, so I had to do it again with a better sound quality. We will be discussing Surah Saba, Ayah 15 to 21 briefly. Now let's recite the surah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. لقد كان لسبع في مسكنهم آية جنتان عن يمين وشمال كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له بلدة طيبة ورب غفور فأعرضوا فأرسلنا عليهم سيل الأرم وبدلناهم جنتيهم ذوات أكل خمط وعسل وشيء من سدر قليل ذلك جزيناهم بما كفروا وهل نجازي إلا الكفور وجعلنا بينهم وبين القرى التي باركنا فيها قرى زاهرة وقدرنا فيها السير سيروا فيها ليالي وأيام آمنين فقالوا ربنا بعد بين أسفارنا وظلموا أنفسهم فجعلناهم أحاديث ومزقناهم كل ممزق إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور ولقد صدق عليهم إبليس ظنه فاتبعوه إلا فريقا من المؤمنين. And let's read another portion of this is from Surah Hijr, Ayah 39, where Iblis says that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قال هذا صراط علي مستقيم إن عبادي ليس لك عليهم سلطان إلا من اتبعك من الغاوين. So, and let me read the translation. There is for the tribe of Saba in the dwelling place a sign for you. Gardens on the right and on the left. They were told, eat from the provisions of your Lord and be grateful to him. A good land have you and a forgiving Lord. But they turned away, refusing, so we sent upon them the flood of the dam, and we replaced their two gardens with the gardens of bitter fruit, tamarisk, and something of sparse low trees. And by that we repaid them because they disbelieved. And do we thus repay except they are ungrateful? And we placed between them and the cities we had blessed many visible cities, and we determined between them the distance of journey, saying, travel them by night and days in safety. But insolently they said, our Lord lengthened the distance between our journeys, and wronged themselves, so we made them narrations and dispersed them in total dispersion. Indeed, in that are signs for everyone patient and grateful. And Iblis found his estimate of them to be true, and they followed him except a party of believers. Iblis had no authority over them, and whatever happened was in order that we might know him who believes in the hereafter, as distinct from him who is in doubt about it. Your Lord is watching over everything. And Iblis's estimate is mentioned in Surah Hijr, yes, 39. Yes, he says there. And Surah Hijr says, yes. Iblis said, my Lord, because you have put me in error, I will surely make disobedience attractive to them on earth, and I will mislead them all. In another place in Surah Araf 16 and 17, it says, Satan said, since you have led me astray, I will surely sit in ambush for them on your straight path, and then I will come upon them from the front and from the rear and from the right and from the left, and you will not find most of them thankful. And so it's clear from the verses that almost 2,000 years ago, the descendants of Shem, the son of Noah, built a dam near Marib in Yemen. It was rebuilt by the Sabians, Sabi'in in the Quran, and in around 8th century BC. An engineering marvel in those days. Queen Sheba of Saba had become a Muslim at the hands of Prophet Sulaiman around 950 BC. It is clear from the ayah that Sabaeans had become believers in those days, but when they became disbelievers and ungrateful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala burst the dam and destroyed their prosperous land. This happened around 450 AD. After repairs and the Sabaeans gave up the dam altogether, they moved away in 542 AD to other parts of Arabia. When Queen Sheba of the Sabaeans accepted Islam, the whole area of the Arabian trade route called the incense route fell under the authority of Prophet Sulaiman, who controlled more than half of that incense route, starting from Jerusalem. The rest of the route was given under the control of Queen Sheba by Prophet Sulaiman. That was the most prosperous period for the incense route. The idolatrous pagan tribes paid taxes to Sulaiman because authority belonged to him in that area. Frankincense and myrrh, two spices highly prized in ancient times as perfumes, as fragrances used in temples and palaces. They were only found in Yemen, Oman, Somalia, and Ethiopia. Camel caravans laden with valuable goods started the journey of 1,200 miles from Shabwa in Hadramaut in southern Arabia, and after 65 stops in 62 days reached Petra in Jordan and Gaza in Palestine. This according to Pliny the Elder, a Roman author who died in 79 AD. Incense trade also passed through Mecca, Taif, Medina, Madain Saleh, Dedan, Al-Ula, etc., and went all the way to Gaza, Jerusalem, Petra, Palmyra, Babylon. It made the South Arabians filthy rich. Their wealthy land was called Arabia Felix, Happy Arabia by the Romans. Sometime after the demise of Prophet Sulaiman, the towns on the incense trade turned to disbelief and other vices attached with it. However, a group of true believers kept their faith and stuck to the Islamic way of doing trade. The weak of faith who said to Allah, "Lengthen the distance between our journeys," meant that we are bored with this Islamic form of lawful trade and principled living. They showed their ingratitude in the same way as the Bani Israel did when they showed their ingratitude much the same way as Bani Israel did when they said that we cannot eat manna and salwa every day. We want other stuff as well. In similar fashion, the Sabaeans, Nabateans, Minaeans, and other nations on that incense route resorted to disbelief and ingratitude. The idolatry, high taxation, highway robberies, civil wars, usurious practices, riba, didn't help them either. The tribal wars invited tyrants to invade their lands and take over their wealth. Roman Emperor Trajan annexed northern Arabia in 107 AD. Even Medina was once under the Romans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished the Sabaean nation for the ingratitude and dispersed them in 275 AD. 275 BC, that is. The Jurhum tribe settled in Mecca, and other tribes went to other places. The Ghassanids went to northern Saudi Arabia, and there were other tribes. Aus and Khazraj and Banu Qaynuqa probably also came down from Arabia, southern Arabia, and in other places. Settled in Mecca. They followed Satan, who makes false promises of greener pastures, who promised that he will sit on the straight path and mislead people from there, that he will make sins look attractive to people. Only the strong of faith will not be misled. This is what it says in the Quran, the ayahs that we read in Surah Hijr and Surah Araf. And this is what happened in the case of the Sabaeans. Only one group of believers who were patient and grateful remained faithful to the principles on which Prophet Sulaiman and Queen Sheba, Queen Malka Saba, ran the trade along the incense route. There's a lesson for those who migrated to the West in search of wealth, saying to the Lord with their actions, "O Lord, lengthen the distance between our journeys," which was for livelihood. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Muslims freedom. They have around 60 countries under their control, but Muslims show ingratitude to Allah when they stand in front of the US or British or Canadian visa section officer with folded hands begging him to grant the visa. It is at that point they say with their actions, there is nothing in our country. There's no way to get rich here. Please get us out of here. But what good is freedom if you're not rich, if you can't get wealthy? And so the Muslims left the Ummah, and in fact they're still leaving in droves, and they merge with the Muslim nations to which they emigrate. And they're also, in a way, they're also dispersed, like the Sabaeans were dispersed, and they were made into a folklore that people only remembered them as legends, as people gone by, as a nation that was once mighty, but they fell into ingratitude, and Allah punished them and dispersed them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and make us understand and guide us to understand these beautiful ayahs, and may we serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with sincerity, and that we reject all his enemies and taghuts. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.